The last time I was here, which years ago, I think I've changed a lot, grown a lot. It's nice to see the welcome that I've had. There's a huge Filipino community here, so I'm so excited.
She feels like she has changed and developed a lot since her last visit, which was years ago. Now that she is back, the friendly reception has meant a lot to her, especially since there is a sizable Filipino population there, which adds to the excitement of the occasion. Named after the Philippine capital Padali, Manila is a public plaza in Rome's Flaminio area that serves as a modest yet poignant reminder of home. About 165,000 Filipinos who live throughout Italy, many of them within driving distance of the Foro Italico, are prepared to support her as the city gets ready to host one of the most anticipated WTA 1000 events of her career. A Filipino woman ranked in the top 50 in the world enters those famous red clay courts this May to participate in a draw that features more previous winners than any other event on the 2026 schedule, making it a historic occasion. Her current status is not the only thing that makes this moment genuinely noteworthy, but also what transpired the last time she played on those same courts and the quiet, tenacious work she has done ever since. Her match on that same surface 12 months earlier ended in a 6-0, 6-1 score in just 45 minutes. It seemed like being totally wiped rather than just a loss. After reaching a career high of number 31 just 2 months prior in February, she returns in 2026 rated 44th in the globe. Unlike the rest of the field in Rome, she has already won 15 games this season and will have nearly nothing to defend over the entire clay campaign. Every match she wins turns into pure gain, an unfiltered ascent with no safety net, as she only has 70 ranking points to defend. Rome is the most hazardous tournament of the year because of this straightforward fact. Additionally, the draw does not yet disclose who has been getting her ready for this. The WD has officially stated that the 2026 Internacional Bienal d'Italia will have the strongest women's field gathered on any surface this season. Every single one of the top 20 is there. The biggest names in clay are among them. Fourth-seeded IGA Swiatek, a 3-time Rome champion and the epitome of contemporary clay dominance. Second-seeded Elena Rybakina, who won the trophy in 2023. Ninth-seeded Jasmine Paolini, the reigning champion and favorite of the home crowd. And seventh-seeded Alina Svitolina, who won back-to-back titles in 2017 and 2018. Karolina Pliskova, who enters with a protected ranking, gives the draw even more depth. The 11th seed and 2020 Rome champion, Karolina Machova, is also in the draw. Earlier this season in Miami, she defeated Eala 6-0, 6-2 in less than an hour. The last 3 Rome title holders, all seeded and vying for another championship, are among the more than a dozen former Grand Slam winners in attendance. Eala, on the other hand, is ranked 44 spots below the range where the bracket starts to provide any protection. This is the draw, not simply a challenging one. It takes a certain kind of bravery to return to the location where you were most publicly exposed. Not only to show up, but to think that things will be different this time. When Eala went onto that clay on May 7, 2025, at the Foro Italico, Marta Kostuk defeated her 6-0, 6-1 in 45 minutes. There was no space for interpretation on the scoreboard. She didn't compete. On a surface that exposed every weakness in her game, she was outmatched at every level. Imagine entering that same stadium a year later and witnessing a different version of the same player enter. With 15 victories in the 2026 season and a career-high rating of number 31 attained less than 10 weeks ago, she is currently rated 44th in the world. Her change from May 2025 to May 2026 is a well-documented shift rather than a slow, progressive ascent. The seedings did not represent what others who carefully followed her path knew. The 6-0, 6-1 loss was her beginning, not her ceiling. Additionally, there is already another layer of context in existence outside the court. There is a sizable Filipino community in Italy, numbering about 165,000, in the Flaminio neighborhood of Rome, where the Plaza Paitao Manila serves as a constant reminder of the Philippines. These are not transient fans who just happen to stop by. They use the same buses, walk the same streets, live there, work there, and are familiar with the paths to the Foro Italico. Just a few days ago, members of the Filipino embassy were spotted during her matches in Madrid. Same presence was also observed during Indian Wells. Even the BNP Paribas Open in Miami acknowledged in its official coverage that her first victory attracted large audiences, and the WTA's Instagram featured her celebrating with family for a third major event in a row. Arriving in Rome is a diaspora community essentially claiming one of their own on familiar territory, not a traveling fan club. Eala made a comment unrelated to tennis 6 days before making her full commitment to Rome. She walked the red carpet at the Laureus World Sports Awards in Madrid on April 21, 2026, one of the most prominent events in international sport, wearing a Philippine gown created by her uncle Ret Eala. She claimed that the Laureus stage was the ideal setting for her long-held goal of donning a Filipiniana on a worldwide red carpet. At a night with the most renowned athletes in the world, she was positioned not only as an athlete attending an award ceremony but also as a cultural ambassador showcasing her identity to a worldwide audience. The tennis court, on the other hand, has provided far more resistance and much less ceremony. The scores in her 3 defeats prior to Rome, against Ostapenko in Linz, Fernandez in Stuttgart, and Maria Sakkari in Madrid, were more inconsistent. 4-6, 7-5, 1-6, 4-6, and 2-6, 1-6. She only won 38 of the 99 points played against Elise Mertens, who is rated 21st in the world, and failed to break serve once. The pattern is obvious and readily apparent. Eala has routinely lost the physical battle, frequently by significant margins, when she has faced players ranked in the top 25 on clay. Rome makes that reality more intense rather than softer. She now arrives with preparation shaped by individuals who have achieved the highest level of success in solving this particular challenge. According to reports, Joan Bosch and Luc Bausa from the Rafa Nadal Academy would assist Sandro Veen as her main on-court coach for the 2026 clay season. According to Academy reports, Tony Nadal, the UMCL and longtime coach of Rafael Nadal, is at the center of that preparation. Nadal is the mastermind behind 14 French Open victories and one of the most successful clay court systems in tennis history. Eala has openly acknowledged Tony's presence, stating that they are really fortunate to have him on the team and highlighting the breadth of his expertise. Last week, Greg Ruzetsky made a clear connection between the environment she has been involved in and what she is producing in his show. He pointed out that she spent a lot of time in a system where clay court success patterns are strongly internalized because she was at the academy with Rafael Nadal on clay. He believes she knows what to do and that her preparation successfully incorporates the clay concept that led to 14 Roland Garros victories. He emphasized that this is coaching truth, not marketing. Ruzecki is not merely a bystander. A former number 4 in the world and the 1997 U.S. He is still the only player from outside Australia or the United States to have advanced to a U.S. Open final during the Open era prior to 2000. His evaluations of potential, direction, and what the greatest level of the sport requires are supported by this background. His remarks about Eala were direct and unprompted. He likened her cultural and athletic influence to that of Manny Pacquiao, claiming that she embodies the same national desire for a new international celebrity. He went on to say that he would want to see her in the top 20, that she is excellent for the WT, and that the sport needs more well-known names. He claims that she does more than just compete. In areas with sizable Filipino populations, where her bouts inevitably garner notice and frequently high attendance, she also broadens the audience. Ruzetsky's wording lacked caution and conditionality. It was straightforward, based on his observations rather than what he was supposed to say, and grounded on his experience. Greg Ruzetsky's approval was not necessary for fans who followed her from Indian Wells to Madrid to comprehend what they were witnessing. However, when a reputable former player puts it that way, a lot of the uncertainty that frequently surrounds up-and-coming talent in the sport is eliminated. For Eala, the 2026 clay season is more of a qualifying campaign for Roland Garros, which starts on May 24th, than a standalone event. Her rating, seeding, and the route she will take in Paris are all directly impacted by each point she gains or loses between now and then. She might move closer to the top 30 and change her first-week draw at the French Open if she has a strong run in Rome, such as making it to the quarterfinals or higher. But if she left early, she would arrive in Paris with a lot of the same anxiety that she carried into the clay season. The larger context is equally important as rankings. The WTA is still searching for fresh talent who can expand into new areas and draw in new spectators. Eala's presence in this regard is consistent with the observations made by analysts such as Ruzetsky. She draws attention from a wider audience than the typical tennis demographics. The estimated 165,000 Filipinos residing in Italy provide a fan base that the tour has not previously interacted with in such a concentrated manner. Because of this, portions of stadiums where she plays frequently fill for reasons other than the opponent on the other side of the net. From the Foro Italico to Roland Garros, tournament administrators are gradually reevaluating what her presence means not just in terms of athletics but also in terms of commerce, culture, and institutions. Parma is another. Eala is the fourth seed at the WTA 125 Parma Ladies Open, which takes place from May 11th to 16th, 2026. Her schedule choice will indicate how much she values this phase of the clay season if she is still participating in Rome when Parma starts. The schedule is not very flexible, and ambition is much less accommodating. The Filipino community in Rome already recognizes that Eala's participation in the Foro Italico has evolved beyond mere athletic representation, as do those congregated around Paitao, Manila, and others who have lived in Italy for decades. A worldwide athlete carrying identity, ranking, and performance on the same stage is the most obvious manifestation of diaspora pride. Elise Mertens gave one of the best indications of Isla's competitive position in this stage of the season on April 25th in Madrid, just days before she committed to Rome. The score was 6-2, 6-1. Isla won just 38 of 99 points and never broke serve. Online reactions were prompt and, in some cases, direct enough to garner more attention. Greg Ruzetsky tackled it head-on, saying, "Don't get too discouraged. She has a fantastic team around her, so it could take her a little longer, but she needs to get answers." The volume of the response was demonstrated by the fact that he felt obliged to state it in public. But Eala remained silent in response. She made a decision in response rather than making a remark. She reiterated her commitment to Rome and withdrew from the Catalonia Open, a lesser, less dangerous competition, within 48 hours of that defeat. A WTA 1000 versus the season's deepest field, not a retreat or a recuperation week. She thought about the response she got following her maiden victory in Linz earlier in the clay swing, saying, "I think it's amazing. The way they welcomed me and the Filipinos made me very pleased." Additionally, she apparently responded with a statement that went viral online when asked about the pressure her fans feel while watching her. "Their pressure is far greater than mine." Her motivation is rooted in the framing that places her personal competitive strain beneath the emotional burden shared by her followers. It is relational rather than just internal. On the clay of the Foro Italico, she was defeated 6-0, 6-1 in 45 minutes a year ago. The match ended before the majority of the tournament's rhythm had even developed. With clear indications of disciplined clay improvement under a coaching system influenced by Tony Nadal's philosophy and notable off-court highlights like her Filipiniana appearance at the Laureus Awards in Madrid, she is now ranked 44th in the world. Iga Swiatek, Elena Rybakina, and Jasmine Paolini are among the staff-established champions in Rome's current draw, but Eala is unseeded in a field that contains the tournament's last three winners. A concentrated Filipino presence throughout Italy, a community already familiar with the routes to the Foro Italico, and a developing sense of collective investment in her matches, however, surround her in a way that no draw sheet can capture. This has never been about a single outcome for her supporters. Match by match, coach by coach, surface by surface, it has been about accumulation. That accumulation is no longer abstract in Rome. Here, it is put to the test in real time against the most formidable opponent she has ever encountered. Eala's statement, "Anything I can take from Rafa, I'll take with pride," was presented as aim rather than just admiration. Rafael Nadal, who established his supremacy on the surface with 14 French Open victories, has an impact on her preparation that is both tangible and symbolic. It is evident in the everyday framework surrounding her growth. The clay philosophy that underpins that legacy becomes a part of Tony Nadal's working style rather than a point of reference as she observes from the coaching environment. Ranking, preparation, circumstance, and expectations have all altered as she enters the Foro Italico, but the clay itself is still the same. How she applies that to her performance on the court is currently the only serious question. Can she go to the Rome quarterfinals? Or will the pressure of this draw cause the same structural limitations she has seen against top 20 opponents on clay to reappear? While it won't end the story, what happens in Rome will determine its course.